Yo, this be actually really hard.
U.P.K shit, South Coast shit, man. Shout out to Dark Tennessee up the building. Hey, get the money, hey. What the fuck going on out there, motherfucker? Hey. Get the money, nigga. Chase the paper, bitch. Keep all of your morals, never slave for shit. Ice up on my wrist. Yeah, I'm hood rich. I don't give a fuck about to get pop quick. Yeah, I'm on that shit. Yeah, I'm in the town. Niggas talking about that G, but now they come around. Can't even come around. Yeah, I'm up, nigga. Man, fuck all of these hoes, get the bucks, bitch. I'm a young rich nigga, I ain't tryna flex. You can tell I'm cold by the ice around my neck. Straight up BBS, I charge you, boy, you wanna test. I don't get no shot about a nigga or a bitch. Boy, I love the life I live, cause a nigga keep it real. Nigga freshly hell, take that drip, but get your spill. I ain't little flip, getting pimped up out of his. I'm a straight G-Do, getting paper like a miso. That's that South Coast stain if you tryna hang. You be catered by the bang, boy, we rep the same. Nigga tryna talk, but we rep that murder game. Get your ass pop, ain't nothing to a G. All up, bitches wanna fuck, but hell no, I pay no fee. Bitches lead too deep, got that ice, I make you sneeze. All these niggas let me hell, can't even come around me. Bitches South Coast, South Carolina, bitch, I'm styling you.
Really no demons get control of me. No money get the best of me. No bitches getting up over me. Don't want much nigga, I'm sucker free. That's the way it gotta be. These niggas chain these bitches, chain y'all, chain is soak me. For real, this brotherhood a weapon. And bitch, we carry weapons. Black rob on nigga ass don't even need a weapon. And you be represented. And you be very respected. And if you got a problem, then y'all better address it. You cross that line, we ain't show no mercy. Cross that line, you ain't gon' need search. You pull up and they get nervous. You ain't making no moves, you ain't got no purse. On I.S.U.P.K, so I ain't never worried. I'm putting the murder, both of my hands dirty. For real, I learned from the OGs. I'm a young nigga, but I'm a certified priest. And I'm from Tennessee. In this mandatory that I gotta keep my heat. You should play it safe, and we gon' play with Keisha. For real.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the brutal show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slump. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Like, so you want us to put?
Hey, Shalom, can you hear me? Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. We under commanding General YAHANNA. This is the I.S.U.P.K. Florida scripture breakdown class every Monday. We right here 7 to 9. Precinct Officer Kazak Damar holding it down for Precinct Captain Shawar Yala. I got my brothers down in the school with me. You know what I'm saying? That normally hold it down. I got Officer Nishab, Officer Itazab. We're gonna go ahead and get it in as we do. So if anybody got any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Anybody got anything they want to bring out, just let me know. Say for lock, we're gonna get it in. All right. Y'all brothers got any questions? Any of y'all brothers got any questions?
Law, sir.
All right, nobody got no questions.
Oh, Salaki, sir, I do that. I gotta find it. Hold on. Yes, sir.
All right.
The question is in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 45, 1 through 7, and it speaks about the prince. And I just wanted to know who that refers to. I'm feeling like it's talking about men who were in our nation who were of renown or whatever and had status. So I'm not. I just need a breakdown on that. So
Ezekiel 45 and 1.
Come.
All right, so like as you speaking to me, it's chopping up. I don't know if it's me or I don't know if it's like that in the class. Do y'all got like the class cut up, or something in like a secondary speaker or something?
Well, it's not like we're not coming with speaker or anything. We coming straight through the microphone to the computer. It's been doing that for the few days. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. Not sure if you can make out what I'm saying, but we've been having that issue.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Salaki. Hey, no, can you read for me? Because it's gonna be choppy. All right. I'm gonna have the brother read it. You say your question is in what verse?
Salaki, sir.
You said the prince?
Yes, sir.
Ezekiel 45 is what you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what verse is the prince in?
I
don't see it.
may have wrote in the wrong spot. Hold on. Okay, say Salaki, sir. It's over in verse 16.
Ezekiel 45 and 16?
Yes, sir. I'm in the wrong spot.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Give me verse 13.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 45.
Can y'all hear the brother?
Khan, sir.
All right, go ahead.
This is the oblation that ye shall offer. The sixth part of the ehan of an omer of wheat, and ye shall give the sixth part of an ehan of the omer of barley.
All right, so this is breaking down different things that it was talking about earlier. In there, it's telling you how you should come to the Lord, what you got to bring, what they're gonna be sacrificing, so on and so forth. Right? If you go all the way to the top, it'll tell you that when you shall divide by the lot the land for inheritance, you shall offer a oblation. So this is talking about when they dividing the land, right? What they should be doing. This was at that time a coming prophecy. I'm not sure. I haven't got the breakdown on the school stance on this, but I do know for sure when Ezekiel was prophesying it, it was something that was going to come in the future. All right. So when you go down, it's talking about when you get this land or whatever the case may be, right? In verse 8, it says, "And the land shall be his possessions in Israel, and my princes shall no more oppress my people, and the rest of the land shall they give to an house of Israel according to their tribes." So this is talking about dividing the nations, right? And when you go down, where do we start at? Verse 13. It says, "This is the oblation." So it's talking about an offering that you're going to give, as it was talking about in verse 1. The sixth part of an ephah of a homer of wheat. These are measures. And you shall give the sixth part of an ephah of a homer of barley. All right. Go ahead to verse 14.
Concerning the ordinance of oil, the bath of oil, ye shall offer the 10th part of a bath out of the core, which is a homer of 10th bath. For the 10th bath are a homer. And one lamb out of the flock, out of 200, out of the fat pastures of Israel.
Hey, you got to give me a good lamb, a nice lamb. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For a meat offering.
Right.
And for a burnt offering. And for peace offerings. To make reconciliation for them, saith the Most High.
Keep going.
All the people of the land shall give this oblation for the prince of Israel.
Now read that again.
All the people of the land shall give this oblation for the prince in Israel.
Keep going.
And it shall be the prince part to give burnt offerings
Mm-hmm.
and meat offerings and drink offerings and the feast and in the new moons and in the Sabbath and all the Solamites of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering and the meat offering and the burnt offering and the peace offerings to make reconciliation for the house of Israel.
Yeah. Hey, Nashak, I remember asking this question. I asked this question to Cap. I don't remember exactly what the answer was. I believe I tried to get it from General Muhammad because when I first read it, it seemed that I thought this was the kingdom, and I thought this was Christ the priest, but then I seen him taking sin offerings in the kingdom, and it kind of confused me. So I don't remember the breakdown on this. I cannot give you a definitive on who this prince is, but this is something that I needed to know anyway. So I'm gonna get back on it and see if I can't get the answer. All right, I'll either holler at the captain or the generals and find out.
Sir.
Is that the same thing that was confusing you?
Yes, sir.
Because once I read it, it looked like it was a priest that would be there that's taking the oblations and the offerings from the children of Israel within the kingdom. But I was a little bit thrown off by the fact that he was still taking sin offerings and burnt offerings. So that brought about other questions. I gotta get a proper breakdown on it, and I'm not gonna attempt to just make up something. You understand?
Okay, so
all right, no sweat. Just remind me if you could just text it to me or something like that so I can make sure I ask this question.
Let me know that right now.
All right, Most High in Christ. Anybody else got any questions?
Go
ahead.
A lot, sir. How do we know, prove that devout men are Israelites? It's like when you read about devout men, Acts, that's talking about Israelites.
I mean, where do you see that word at?
Okay.
Other than Acts.
Hold on.
What Acts you talking about?
In the New Testament.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean where at in Acts, because you know it's in multiple different places in the New Testament.
Right. Acts 2.
Oh, that particular one?
Well, no, because that's where we see it. I know the breakdown is that this is talking about is but like my question would be, because when I heard it broke down, it was like that was the key. The word devout was the key, letting you know.
No, that's not the key.
Okay, but that's how.
You saying the one? Okay, like let me show you. You at where you at? Acts 2 and 5, right?
Kind of.
All right. This is what I'll do. Do you have a Zondervan Bible dictionary with you? I don't have mine. Let's look that word up. Devout. I don't have my Zondervan Bible dictionary with me. You got it?
Well, I don't think it's in here.
It's not? All right. So then look it up and give me another source.
I have it. I had it in the West Maryland West. I'm in BLB. I mean.
What?
Blue Letter Bible. Concordance.
Oh, Ula Bis.
What?
The Greek word ulabase, G2126. That's what you're talking about? I don't know how to speak Greek, so I don't know if that's the right way.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're talking about, though, right?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah.
All right, so I got it from the Holden. Hold on 1 second. Holman Bible Dictionary, right? Where is it? Devout. Careful in fulfilling religious duties. Applies used only in the Acts. Simeon is used, so this ain't used nowhere but in Acts, but that's not true because that word is used in Luke as well. So let me make sure. Or it's something that's translated as into there. You might want to mute up for a second because I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Simeon is described as righteous and devout person who welcomed the coming of the Messiah, on whom the Holy Spirit rested. Also, Cornelius was described as a devout person who reverenced God, gave alms, and prayed continually. This Acts chapter 10. So the Luke 2:25 was the one that was talking about Simeon, and then the Cornelius was Acts chapter 10. Ananias is described as a devout person according to the standard of Jewish law. He was well spoken of by all, and that's Acts 22:12, right? So if you go into Acts chapter 2, the reason we know that they're Israelites is because of what it says in that verse. Can you unmute and read Acts chapter 2 and 5 for me?
Let me know if I'm coming through, sir.
It's still a little choppy, but go ahead.
Acts chapter 2, 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
So now in this particular one, you know for sure that it ain't nobody else but Jews because it's talking about them. But on top of them being Israelites, right? Something else important was going on. These were men that kept the faith. These were men that, like the word that it says, careful in fulfilling religious duties. So if they had duties within the church or within the body, right, they were fulfilling those duties. That's what devout means. You have a duty to the Most High and you're fulfilling that duty. So that don't necessarily mean every time you see for devout, you got a devout Christian. You might have a devout Muslim. You might have a devout, these particular was Jews, devout men, and it's talking about the faith that they were following at the time. And where were they from? So it's giving, first of all, who they are, they're Jews. Then it's talking about what they doing. They fulfilling this obligation or religious obligation, right? They doubt it when it comes to the scriptures, when it comes to keeping the law, when it comes to serving Christ. And where are they from? Out of every nation under heaven. So they came from far and wide to come to keep what was it? The feast of Pentecost, the day of Pentecost, which was a feast day in the Tanakh that they just happened to be coming to be. That's, and you know that based on the time of year it was, how many days it was from the Passover, so on and so forth. All right, so every time you see that word devout, it don't necessarily, you can't use that word to say that it's Jews. However, if it's talking about it in the Acts, you know that all these people was followers of Christ. You would have to already know that these people was Israelites. If you're a person that believed that the Gentiles in the New Testament was Israelites, then you'll still be able to wiggle out of it if that's what you using to try to cut them with. You understand? But they could just say they were Christians or followers of Christ and so on and so forth. You'll have to use another word. But for a brother, like if you're teaching a class to some people that understand already that these Gentiles in the New Testament are Israelites, then that word would just mean that these was Israelites that's also following Christ, that's into the faith, that's taking care of their responsibility as whatever they have in the church or the body of men. You understand or no? Yeah, I wouldn't try to use that. Like if I was going to use Acts chapter 5 to cut somebody to say that these men was Jews, it says they Jews. It says they Israelites right there. Even when you go into let me go there real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on, give me 1 second. You find it. Because this is important. When you go into Acts, let's go to the Acts chapter 10, right? And we're going to read 21 and 22. If you could, if you got specifically like the conversation that made, or you was just reading it and you wanted to use that word, was it a specific conversation?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time, sir.
Was it a specific conversation you was having that made you, where you tried to use this, or was it just you was reading it and you thought that's what it meant? How did you come to that conclusion?
Sir, no. Actually, we was reading something else. It was about it was actually the scripture that he's read about, and it's crazy because this is the question I asked before you can ask the question. When you read, there's another deeper in that verse.
You talking about Ezekiel?
Yes, I'm coming.
What about it? When he read Ezekiel, what was in it? Something said something about
there was a word in there, and it reminded me of this word, devout. And I remember hearing a breakdown on it, but the way I might have understood the breakdown. It seemed like it was saying that the part was what lets you know that these are the most outside men of God.
Well, like I'll give you an example. Like when they use the word saints, right? When they use the word saints, you can go through the scripture to say, "Who are my saints?" But that word means that they actually doing the work of God, right? But we know, that's what I was saying. We know that they're Israelites because we know who the Bible was written for. We know who Christ came for. We know who the Lord loves. We know who's serving Christ. You see what I'm saying? But to somebody who don't believe, you would have to give some more detail, like the context of the scripture, what was going on, so on and so forth. So like look at Acts chapter 10. Give me 21 and 22 if you could.
Acts chapter 10, 21. The hand of the Most High was with them, and a great number believed and turned unto the Most High.
This Acts chapter 10, verse 21?
So I'm at saying in 11.
You got it? Hey, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let the brothers here read it real quick. Go ahead.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius.
Now, who do people in the world say Cornelius is?
A heathen.
He a heathen, right? According to people in the world. So now, then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius. Go ahead.
And said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore you are come?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man.
Cornelius, the centurion, a just man. Now, who do we say Cornelius was?
An Israelite.
Right. Now watch this. Read.
And one that feareth God and of good report among all the nation of the Jews.
Among all the nations of who?
The Jews.
Now, why would we be crazy enough to say that Cornelius is an Israelite? It called him a just man, one that feared God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews. What's my point, Itazar?
That we know who Cornelius is. We read in the scriptures who Cornelius is.
Right, but even though when it said just man, when it says fearing God, we already know that this is an Israelite. However, in the context where it says and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, it just seals the point that we already know to somebody who don't believe that. You see what I'm saying? So,
right.
for the same way Devout would, we know that the saints of God are those that made a covenant with him based on another precept, right? We know that the saints of God are those that follow Christ based on the context in the Bible. However, for an unbeliever, you would have to give the context to show that these people is that, or it's just going to be an argument, a person who believes and a person that don't. What y'all have to understand that in this school, it's just like when Christ told Peter, he said, "It is given to you to know the mysteries, right, of God, but unto them is not given." To some people, I say this all the time. To the people that believe, no evidence is needed. To the people that don't believe, ain't no amount of evidence gonna be enough. It ain't nothing nobody can show me and tell me that the Bible ain't the truth. Ain't nothing nobody can show me that can tell me that my people ain't the people that chose the chosen people of God. Nothing. I don't care what you show me. I don't care how much proof you got. I believe in it. You understand? And this is the thing that's happening to people. When you are a man of faith, people will look at you like it's something wrong with being that. But he that cometh to God must believe that he is God and a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. You understand what I'm saying? You got to believe in it. Other words, what we doing here? What we doing here? It's people that believe, you know what I'm saying? I was just reading in Acts chapter 14, Peter, when Paul and Barnabas healed the man and they started worshiping Mercury and they called Barnabas Jupiter and Mercury, they gods based on the healing of this man. When that power came, that's the God of the Bible that raised this man up. It's the God of Israel that raised this man up. So people are gonna believe what they want. What I'm saying to you is, if you're breaking it down for an unbeliever, just make sure you get the context. Whatever script they go to, you go to the same scripture, and I guarantee you there's something there that the Lord left to cut the ideology that he loves anybody else, the people that he said he loved, but the people that Christ said they came from. But you ain't gonna be able to use a word like devout or saints to convince somebody who's an unbeliever. But if you're teaching a class, you can use that word. If you break it down, this would show that these was men that was in the faith, and based on everybody that you would be teaching, they would already have that understanding that there was Gentiles that in the New Testament was Israelites. You understand? All right. Anything else on that? Yeah, go ahead, Nishad. You have something?
Oh, live, sir.
Oh, Itazar, you had something?
You said 2020, 22, right?
You said what?
You said
You talking about what I just read? What we just read?
You want me to read 22 too? Oh, brother already read a lot.
Yeah, no, I had the brother read it. But you can read it again. I mean, I had the brother read it.
I have a question.
Yeah, questions.
Actually, so all right, you know who was going over. Well, actually, we mentioned some of when Peter in this crazy because it's the same chapter. But when Peter
This is a different question.
This is a different question.
Hold on 1 second. Was your question on the topic, or it was a totally different question? All right, I'm gonna let him ask, and then I got you. Go ahead,
Okay, so we brought up the topic Peter, vision, and okay, so you know when Peter had the vision about call not what the Most High call common or unclean. I'm paraphrasing, but where it says that where he was talking about what the vision was about a man. I wanted to break down on it.
Okay. All right. Let's go to it.
All right.
You got it?
Yes. Do you want me to start at the part where he has the vision or at the meat of it?
What part you need broke down? Ask the question again.
Okay, can I get a breakdown on what the vision was about?
Yeah, no sweat. All right, go ahead. Let's go to the vision. Find it for me and tell me where it's at.
The book of Acts chapter 10.
Oh, so we was already there.
We was already at it. Is yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'll start at 3.
It's the Holy Spirit, All right.
Or 21, I meant, because you already at 21 anyway. Am I still choppy, sir?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I can make out what you're saying.
If you don't, we have the young man or trooper, whoever's in the building, read it.
Somebody else is in the building?
With you, sir.
Oh, you're talking about with me? Oh, yeah. You said it's what's the text?
Okay, so it'll be Acts chapter 10, verse 21 through 28, I believe.
21 through 28.
Yes.
All right. You can go ahead and mute up. I'll have the brother read it. You got it for me? All right, go ahead. I know. We're gonna read it down.
Okay. This is after the vision.
This is after it?
This will be after the vision. This is
where the part where he say kill and eat. Yeah. All right, so
verse
10.
Verse 10 coming.
All right. Go to verse 7. Let's start there.
Come on. The book of Acts, chapter 10.
Y'all can hear the brother, right?
Verse 7.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and mute up so it ain't choppy. The feedback. Go ahead.
And when the angels which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually.
What does that word devout mean, Itazal?
Like devoted or faithful.
Right. They doing their job, right? They're doing their job. Go ahead to verse 8.
And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa.
Mm-hmm.
And the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
So now, brother's so hungry, right? He thinking about food. He went to go pray, and then now he kind of like dazing while they cooking. They cooking the food. He up on the top. Know what I'm saying? And while he waiting for them to get finished cooking, he's praying. And then like it says he fell into a trance. Means like he in deep thought. Peter's in deep thought, and now he's getting a vision from the Most High. Go ahead to verse 11.
And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending upon unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth.
So now as he's thinking about this, right, he basically sees this vision of something coming down like a sheet, right, having four corners being let down to the earth from heaven. Keep going.
Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Notice what it's naming. You got all kind of four-footed beasts. You got wild beasts, you got creeping things, you got fowls of the air, right? Keep going.
And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
So the voice is written in red. It says, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. It's telling him to kill these creeping things, these fowls, and these wise beasts, and eat them. Go ahead.
But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
So Peter telling the Lord, I'm not doing that. I keep the law. I do what you told me to do. I do what the Most High told me to do. I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean. So why would I do it now? This shows you that the followers of Christ was keeping the law. Go ahead to verse 15. Yeah, go ahead. You got a question?
Two questions. If I may, what is there any significance to the sheep?
Not. I'm sure there is a significance for people who like would break it down to that point, but I'm not familiar with the breakdown of the significance of the sheep. It's just describing what it looked like, as far as I know.
If I could, I'm just speculating, but it sounds like chariot.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I heard about it, it sounded like a chariot to me too, but I didn't see the chariot once they started saying the four corners and it looking like a sheep. It kind of changed my vision of what I saw in my mind as he was breaking it down. But I did see that when he first started, when it said a vessel, when it said it looked like a vessel coming down.
Right.
That's what I thought, descending on him. It had been a great sheep. So it might mean like covering him up, like a chariot coming down and covering him up. I haven't heard nobody else say that, so I can't teach that, but that is the vibe I got from
it. Too, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Christ speaking, going back.
Well, it's written in red, so anytime I see it written in red, I would say this is Christ.
That's deep.
You said that's deep.Ust so deep about it?
Say again?
I just read where Saul went and got a word from Samuel from Miss Cleo. You know what I'm saying? If he can go to Miss Cleo and hear the words of Samuel, I'm sure this brother can hear the words of Christ in his vision that he's having. You feel me?
That's true. That's deep.
Hey, I'm the most shallow brother that you know. Give me verse 15. Nothing deep about me.
And the voice spake unto him again the second time. What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
What God hath cleansed, that call not thou uncommon. So he's saying, I ain't messing with nothing that's common, meaning that's not holy, right? That's not clean. And this is how Israelites thought of people that wasn't a part of their family, didn't come up the way they come up. You ain't like us. We don't do the stuff that y'all doing. It's like a brother coming up in a good family and being around people who came up in the hood, who sold drugs, who slept with whores. He like, oh nah, I don't sleep with all manner of women like that. I don't deal with them kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever been around crackheads and all this? And this brother ain't never dealt with them. He's saying, like, I ain't got nothing to do with them. This is the same type of thing he's saying about even eating his food. Like, I don't eat nothing that's not holy and that's not clean. And what Christ said back to him, don't call it like unholy or unclean when the Lord already cleansed it. Right? So he's basically telling him that what he thinks about this food or what he thinks about these animals, right, that's in his vision is not what's really going on. It's not animals that are unclean. These are animals that the Lord have cleansed, right? Verse 16, go ahead.
Con. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven.
So in this vision, he saw the same vision over and over again. He saw it 3 times, and then what we call him, me and I.S.U.P.K is calling a chariot, whatever, this vessel, it upped and dipped on him, right? It got up out of there. All right, keep going.
Now when Peter doubted in himself what the vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry of Simon's house, Simon,
and that's Peter. Go ahead.
And stood before the gate.
So now, while they cooking the food, he has his vision. The sheet goes back up into the heaven, and then now it's some people at his door, right? Cornelius done sent some people. Go ahead to verse 18.
And called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged there.
It's a nigga named Peter. Stay here. Go ahead.
While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee.
So now he's still thinking about this vision he had. But here come these men, right? He still thinking about the vision he had, but these men are at his door, and the Spirit leads him to tell him that these people are there. Go ahead to verse 20.
Arise, therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them.
Here it is right here. The Lord sent these men, right? The Spirit of the Lord said, go with these men. He don't know these people, but he just had this thing like, I don't deal with no common, uncommon, or whatever the case may be. Hey, I.S.U.P.K, are we still there?
What does that mean, sir?
No, I was just making sure everything was too hard.
Okay.
All right. Keep going.
Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and one of good reproach among all the nation of the Jew, was one from God by an holy angel to send from thee in his house, and to hear the words of thee.
So what part don't you understand, or you want to keep going? I.S.U.P.K.
So we going. I was going to ask about thrice thing, but took that down as well.
Yeah, it happened many times. I think you was trying to get to the point of what this whole thing meant.
Right.
All right. It's right here in the text. Let me see. Where we was at, verse 20 what?
24.
Verse 24. Go ahead and read verse 25. We're going to go down about 20.
And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshiped him.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man.
Hey, listen. Peter was in the truth, bro. You couldn't give Peter no kind of praise. He ain't want none of that. He ain't want no parts of that. But Cornelius knew who he was. Keep going.
And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, Ye know how that it is unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company, or come unto one from another nation.
Mm-hmm.
But God hath shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
So this is the breakdown of the dream or of the vision. When he got to the Cornelius's house, he came in and found some people there, and they was all gathered there together. These people was ready to change their life, but they ain't had no shepherds. They ain't had nobody that was there. And Cornelius brought him into a place with people that was, it's like almost like, let's say if somebody took you, a man, a priest and officer in the I.S.U.P.K over to the hood to some people that don't have no hope. And they like, hey man, tell me that stuff you was telling me the other night when you was breaking it down about who God is, who the children of Israel is, who all, you know what I'm saying? Break it down to me. And normally you'll be like, man, I don't hang out with these people. They're going to get me killed. These ain't the type of folks that I run with. These ain't my type of dudes. Like, we keep Sabbath days. They ain't never kept no Sabbath. We don't eat pork. They in there eating hot sausages and pork chops and everything. We don't smoke weed. They in there doing that. But he done told them about the information that you got. The Lord that sent it to them, and they ready to change their life. Well, what you saying to them now, you know I can't be hanging out with cats like this. I can't keep company with people like this, right? However, the Lord done revealed to me that y'all brothers is ready to change and follow and serve Christ the way I am.
So,
Go ahead.
So why is it unlawful?
It wasn't unlawful. There is no law that said, even being around the other nations, there is no law that says that. That was the tradition that was came to us. It was passed down. That's why when the Pharisees was saying, why do your men break the Sabbath by picking corn and eating? Or when they said, when Christ told the lady, now you know we don't deal with people that's not Jews or whatever the case may be. And she said, yeah, but the dogs eat off the children's plate. It was a tradition that, look, you got to think about it. Now, when you say unlawful, you can also look at it like this right here. In the law, it'll tell you if a person missed the Passover, what happens to them.
Okay. He gets cut off from his.
He's cut off from the nation of Israel, right? If a person don't keep the Sabbath, he's cut off. If a person eat meat with blood in it, he's cut off. If a person sleep with a woman that's on her cycle, if a person is a dwarf, if a person is a midget, if a person got his stones,
right?
Certain things you could not be around Israelites because they set apart, they holy. These are the Lord's people. So when they saying it's unlawful, they either talking about that or the tradition that people that was raised up in the faith that was keeping the laws did not deal with people who did not deal with people from outside the land, did not deal with people who was not Israelites. It's no different than me saying, I don't. Now, you know good and well it's unlawful for me to hang out with people that ain't in the truth.
Slaughter, sir.
Yeah.
Would a good example or priest be when Christ was eating with he was eating with the sisters.
Yeah, they saying he's over there eating and drinking with sinners, and he said it's not the whole that need a physician, but the sick. right? I'm hanging with them because they the ones who need to hear what the game that I'm dropping. Like it's like almost like people would rather you preach to the choir than to go and save your brothers and sisters in the streets. It's like somebody seeing in the shop or Itazar hanging out with a crackhead. Like, look at him hanging with that crackhead. Because only one or two things could be happening. Either he convincing you to go smoke crack with him, or you convincing him to go be in the truth. Can two walk together unless they be agreed? We gotta agree on something. And either we agreeing on God is good or crack is good. You understand?
Lock it. No man can serve masters.
It can't. Who is your king? You understand? But that's what it is. And even Peter, he was ashamed of this thing when the Lord revealed this to Peter. He ain't get up and run with it like Paul. He still was feeling some type of way. He was chilling with the cats that was outside of the land, that was Israelites trying to come back, that the Lord was trying to save to come back into the fold. But every time the apostles came around, he'll act like he don't know them. They like, hold on, bro. We were just chilling last night. Oh, now you don't know because your people around.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And Paul was telling him, bro, this is what we supposed to be doing. You don't have to feel no type of way about this. That's what was going on in this. But you asked about it being men. Verse 28 tells you how he understood that he was talking about men. Now we know that it's an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto another nation, right? So these people, as you go through with Paul, he's calling them Romans, he's calling them Corinthians. You are the nation that you lived in. So if you didn't come to Jerusalem every year to keep the Passover, and you from Boynton, you don't come to New York to keep the Passover, we don't know you. You ain't from around here. Where you stay, where your grandmama stay, where somebody stay. We don't know you. And I ain't supposed to be hanging with you. You understand or not, Itazar?
Hey, kind of.
You got another question?
I'm on this topic, but I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit, because what about when it says like help not a sinner, or it's just I was thinking of, like, it slipped my mind.
Give your arms.
Oh, you saying give not into a sinner? What about it?
Right. Okay, so like with the example you used, about how you saying like Christ is basically saying, like, go, you should maybe these brothers could change their life or whatnot. So when you think about things like that, like how do you look at it?
I don't see how those two things go together. Break down your understanding.
Okay, so
how you think they go together.
It was another scripture I was actually thinking of, but so like with that scripture specifically, I help not a God, a sinner or whatnot. Like that's not really a good example. It was another verse I was thinking of, where it's basically it was not to keep company with those people. Like it's not helping me.
We just read that.
Right. So I'm all right. So I'm saying that's why I asked why I say unlawful, right? And then like when you broke it down, so I say, well, that's just like traditions. But then you have scriptures where it talks about how we shouldn't be like basically helping or being around ungodly people.
Give me a scripture. Give me a scripture that says that, and I'll break it down for you.
Yeah, I'm at the
yeah, if you find a scripture that said it, if anybody know one, type it in the chat and we'll go to it. For the most part, okay, the people that you the people that you hang around are a representation of who you are, or whatever the case may be, if that's what you mean. Like that's why they were saying Christ was hanging around sinners or whatever the case may be. However, when you get into the New Testament and our King Yahushua, he was going around the people that they say don't touch, like the people who had leprosy and all of that, he was healing them. The people that was sinners, they brought a whore to him. He was telling her, like, don't sin no more. These things. Give me Romans chapter 5. Let's go there real quick. If you could, Romans chapter 5, 6. This is the difference between what was going on prior. Like, they'll cut you off. It was no coming back into the congregation when you was cut off. There was no more being a part of this family. That was the whole prodigal son. He went out and squandered his inheritance. We have, as the sons of God, the inheritance of God, right? And we went off and squandered it, following the gods of the other nations. The beautiful thing about us being able to come back into the fold, like I say in John chapter 1, to the people that follow the words of God, gave them the power to become the sons of God again. That was the whole point of the prodigal son. Like the son that's been there the whole time, the one that was in Israel, them Pharisees that thought they knew everything and they were serving God, that Christ was cutting the piss every chance he got. They didn't know nothing. They wasn't righteous. They wasn't sons of God. Now, the ungodly had the same opportunity to have as them people who thought they was righteous. You got the script for me up? All right.
This is Romans chapter 5, verse 6.
Can you like say it this way so they can hear it?
For when ye were yet without strength, in any time, Christ died for the ungodly.
Christ died for the righteous.
Christ died for the ungodly.
When you was yet without strength, right? You was weak. You was weak. In that time, Christ died for the ungodly. Read verse 7. You need somebody else to read it or something?
Nah, it just changed. Things changed.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about you gotta put your head down. Go ahead. Verse 7.
For scarcely a righteous man will one die.
So, oh man, people won't even put their life on the line for somebody they consider to be honorable. Scarcely a man wouldn't even die for a righteous man, right? Keep going.
Yet peradventure for a good man, some would even dare to die.
So, like, look, they'll call a man good and say, this is a good man, right? But I ain't jumping in front of that bullet. This is a good dude, man, right here. But check this out in verse 8.
But God commended his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
God commended his love towards us, in that while we were yet drug dealers, whoremongers, robbers, thieves, adulterers, idolaters, while we was that, right? These the people that we talking about that he coming in among, that Peter is hanging out with, that Peter is trying to bring into the truth. They young men. They ain't even got they all black on yet. And they looking around like, hold on, bro. If you going around a brother that's in the truth and he ain't never with brothers that's in the truth, you like, okay, what's going on? Either you're a very powerful man, because most of us have to get from around the environment we in order to come into the truth. If I hang around the same brothers I used to get high with, then one or two things is going to happen. Like I said before, I'm either going to convince them to walk like I'm walking, or I'm going to keep walking like they walking. And this was a new thing that Christ was bringing on the scene, because it wasn't no coming back. You already done served the idol. You already done, you worthy of death already. You cut off. You not the Lord's people anymore. So why in the world is he hanging out with you when he's supposed to be a man of God? You see what I'm saying now?
I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the book of Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 10.
This is a different question?
No, this is the same topic. Like what I asked us about. Like I said, playing devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you're in a battle with some Christian or somebody who is against.
Oh, you got the Christian precept book. You about to take me through the Christian precept? Go ahead. Go ahead.
They might hit you with this. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how to attack. First,
I got you. So we have 1 Corinthians what?
Chapter 5. And starting at, I guess, verse 9.
All right, so 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I write unto you not to keep company. Salakia. I wrote unto you in an apostle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with fornicators of this world, or with covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such and one know not to eat. For what have I to do? Salakia. For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? But them that are without, God judgeth. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person. So this is what I was just talking about just now. There's a difference between, it's Amos chapter 3 says, can two walk together unless they be agreed? There's a difference between what Peter was doing, right? And what Paul is talking about. Paul is talking about people in the truth, right? Saying, get from around those people that are doing things that are wicked. Why? You said it one time on Facebook. A brother went to a vegan spot and he had some vegan shrimp or something like that. You want to put off the appearance of, you don't even want nobody to think that you're doing anything wrong when you've already cleansed up your life, when you've already changed it up. This is what he's talking about. And you got to understand, what's the scripture, the shock, if you could grab it for me, when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, right? That spirit is waiting to come back. As soon as you give it some room by you hanging out with people that's doing a certain thing, you're going to be right back doing that same thing. So what Paul is talking about here is the brothers that's not strong enough to go into a situation where people are sinners and convert the sinner into being a man of God. It's like you keeping company, you hanging around them all the time. Eventually, you're going to be like, well, I mean, it won't be that bad if I just, hit this one time. It won't be that bad if we all do this. But if I just go to the, what I'm saying? It's like going to the strip club or something like that. You're putting yourself in a position where the only option you have and the only thing that's going to end up happening is you're going to sin. That's what it is. There's nothing else that's going to happen. What you going to do? Convert niggas when you ain't strong yourself? So Paul is talking about that, right? He's talking about if you even in my Bible, it says purity among believers, right? That's what it says in there, the little note that they have about what he's talking about. This is about people that's inside the body, being around people that's inside the body. It's the reason why we have the cookouts. This is the reason why we get up the Lord made a law that you get up every high holy day. We have feast days together. You come together every Sabbath. You do all of these different things so you could be around men of like passion, men that believe in the God that you believe in. So it's not unlawful for you to be around them. This is Paul saying this so that brothers don't fall back into the world hanging out with people that's in the world. So brothers that don't become sinners because they being around those people who don't care about the Lord's law.
Come on, sir. I got the precept.
Go ahead. Which one?
Unclean spirit goes out of a man.
Oh yeah, go ahead and read it. Let me see, because you kind of chopping it up a little bit. Where we at?
Matthew chapter 12.
Hey, let me ask you this: if I have to drop off when the library get ready to close, would you be choppy if you finish the class? Like if I got out of here, it'll still be choppy? All right, I got like a few minutes, so I don't know. We'll go through it as long as I can. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 43.
Am I choppy on y'all end? Okay. All right.
When the unclean spirit is going out of man, he walketh through dry places, seeking and finding none.
So this is talking about a spirit that was in a man. Know that everything you do, there's a spirit that's controlling it. Everything you thinking, there's a spirit that's controlling it. It's always how it was taught to me by Captain Shawoyala. Whatever is manifesting itself in the third dimension was already going on in the spiritual realm prior. You understand? Like before it manifests itself, it's already going on. It's like there's good and evil fighting against each other already in that dimension, and whichever one is winning is going to play out right with you, right? So when the Lord comes and now he's taking control, the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, whatever words you want to use, is taking control of your body. Now you ain't doing what you used to do no more. But that same spirit that was controlling you, it wants its spot back, right? So in verse 43, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, talking about the spirit, seeking rest and finding none. Why? It's like if somebody come in, if you go home tonight and it's a whole family living in your house and they say you can't come back. Now you ain't got nowhere to dwell. You ain't got nowhere to stay. You feel me? So now, when go ahead to verse 44. Nashak, you there?
Come.
You must have been on mute. Go ahead to verse 44.
Yes, sir. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished.
I don't know what you did, but you loud and clear right now. You're not chopping. It's way better, whatever you just did.
Come.
All right. It says when then he said, I will return into my house from where I came. And when he come, he find the house empty, swept, and garnished. Right? It's been cleaned up because the Lord cleaned it up. It got him up out of there. This spirit is the reason it was dirty. Like if somebody come in my house or whatever, all my stuff that I done left laying around that I ain't cleaned up because I'm used to being there, now they're not going to want to live with my mess. Know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit don't want to inhabit a vessel that's been filled with demons. So it got to get rid of the demons and clean it up. So when the demons come back, now this particular house is all clean. All the stuff that you had in this house is already been clean, and he ready to come back. Go ahead.
Verse 45.
Then goeth he and taketh with himself seven other spirits more wicked than himself.
Hey, it started back cutting out. I don't know what you did, but anyway, then goeth he and taketh with himself seven other spirits more wicked than himself. Go ahead.
So, if I could, real quick, I'm kind of testing something real quick. If you just let me know every time, like, if it's clear or not.
Yeah, it was fine when you had the different camera on, but when you went back to the other camera that y'all had in front, that's when it started chopping again.
Okay, sir. Is this better now?
I don't know. Have the brother read it again. Read verse 45 again.
Come. Matthew 12 and 45. Then goeth he and taketh with himself seven spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell slightly, and they enter and dwell there. And the last of the man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also the wicked generation.
So now what happens is when these demons come back, if they're allowed to go back within that man, they bring in more demons with it. It's no different than you going back to the crib. You know what I'm saying? Now these people that was there when you left, they done came and cleaned up the house, and then they left it open. You still got a key. Nobody's there. You know what I'm finna do? I'm about to have a party now. I'm inviting everybody over there because the joint clean. I'm back in my house and I'm happy to be here. That nigga, the demons is having a housewarming in you, nigga. They happy that you be back home. They live it. You understand? This is what it's talking about. So one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going, once the demon is out, you're going to never let that demon inhabit you again, or it's going to bring 7 to 8 more. So when Paul was talking about staying away from sinners and stuff like that, is because that's what you was. If you're around people who keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, who is not smoking and not getting high and not dealing with whores, then there's a better chance that you're not going to do it either. But when you're around people that don't keep the law, don't fear the Lord, don't care about what he said, then that spirit is going to go on you. You understand? All right, the last time when he was reading, it was still cutting off even though you changed back to the other camera.
Okay. All right. So talking right now, is it sound choppy at all right now?
Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it is. All right. Did I answer all your questions?
Come.
It sounded clear when you said that. Did we go through your little precept book, your Christian precept book?
We got all the Christian precepts out the way.
All right, cool. You sound real clear right now, whatever's going on, whatever you just did. All right. Any other questions? Like, did you see some in the chat? Let me see here. Chat to load. Nah, anybody got any questions? Nobody got no questions?
La, sir, we don't have any questions over here.
All right, if I sent you something, can one of y'all read it for me real quick?
Come.
All right, this shouldn't take that long. Salagia. I would have sent it over, but I didn't know I was gonna be doing the class. Let me get it real quick. As most of y'all or some of y'all may know, it's supposed to be like an American holiday today, right?
I didn't know that.
I just knew. I just found out.
Yeah, what you mean? You ain't know that.
I didn't know.
Today is National Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh, okay.
Celebrating the tribe of Gad, Reuben, Simeon, Ephraim. Right? That's what we celebrate today.
That's right.
Nah. Hey, so who should I send it to? Which one of y'all brothers' phone y'all want me to send it to? Or both of y'all?
You can send it to my phone, sir.
All right, that was
I.S.U.P.K.
Boy, I had to say his name, didn't I? Yeah, so somebody break it down. Well, originally,
right.
Know what I'm saying? It was one thing, and because of America being all inclusive, they made it something else. All right. So Nashak, you still don't know, huh? You still ain't got a clue, huh?
American Indigenous Day. I mean, like, I guess they, celebrating the conquering of the Native Indians.
Yeah.
And
they said they okay. Itazab, you got that?
Yeah, it's kind of a. You want me to pull it up on the screen?
No, I don't want you to put it up on the screen. I just want you to read it. They got like some old rainbow thing going on the site I don't like. Well, niggas get the wrong.
Nah, you can't see it on the website. You can't really see that. Like, it's never mind. All right.
Yeah. Nah. I look better than them words. Salaki. Yeah, all right, but I do want you to go through it with me. You know what I'm saying? In certain parts, I'm gonna have you bring out. So what today would have been, had you been in the world and you was in school or something like that, it would have been Christopher Columbus Day. Right?
Right.
It would have been Christopher Columbus Day. As of in the past like 2 years, the Native Americans were so pissed off that they had a day for Christopher Columbus that they made the people started to brand it differently to National Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may, only if I could. Like, notice they didn't ask to just take the day away completely. They just wanted to be. They just wanted to feel different.
Right. They just want to do. Let's not offend them by keeping this. That's what it is. Let's not offend them by keeping this. So let's give them a day. Remember, General Muhammad was breaking down how the LGBT started out LGBT or LGBT, then it was LGBTQA, and they keep adding letters because they have to include everybody. In order for America to work, they have to include everybody. It can't be like we're going to focus on one thing or one group of people and leave somebody else. Else the American dream fails. It don't work. So while they oppressing people, they got to make the people that's oppressed feel like they're a part of the plan, a part of the community, a part of the nation. Y'all understand, right? So here they is changing Christopher Columbus Day into National Indigenous, like they really celebrating them, but it's still Columbus Day. So now who in the hell is Christopher Columbus that he deserves a day to be celebrated and remembered? Anybody know what they taught you in school about Christopher Columbus? Anybody want it? What did they teach you in school about Christopher Columbus? Anybody? Okay, the brother say he discovered America. Anybody heard that? Christopher Columbus discovered America. What it was, the year of 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Right. It's a motto that I don't remember. Right? He discovered America. Anybody else heard anything else?
Yeah, he was only other thing was that I remember is he was an ambassador for the Queen of England or something like that.
They taught you that in school? Right. I ain't never heard that in school. They taught, what school you went? You went to a good school, Itazab. They taught me that he proved that the world was round.
Oh yeah.
You went to private school or something, man. They taught me that he proved the world was round and he discovered America, something like that, right?
We had books.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, well, bear with us, people that went to public school. They ain't never taught us nothing about no queen, no king. No, brother say he's good night. He said he stayed in the same class all day, man. You got to bear with us.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Hey, so go ahead and read this. Let's get some truth about Christopher Columbus real quick before they kick me out of this library. Just start from the top, and then we're gonna skip down. I ain't gonna read all of this, but it's certain parts I want you to pull out. The many people part, you can start right there.
Christopher Columbus, the untold story. Many people are surprised to learn that Christopher Columbus and his men enslaved native inhabitants of the West Indies, forced them to convert to Christianity.
Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Did we ever hear that part? Did they teach you that at the good school?
Yeah.
They did?
They did. They didn't put it in these words, but
oh man, what school this is? I'm sending my kids there.
This is before anti-critical race.
Oh, now critical race theory, they can't do it, right? All right, so let's talk about some of the stuff it did. It said that he enslaved native inhabitants of the West Indies and forced them to convert to Christianity. Who in here, besides I.S.U.P.K, knew that Christopher Columbus was a Christian or a person that forced native Indians to turn into Christians? Anybody knew that? Oh, let me tell you the other side, because I was a Rasta once too. I also knew that Christopher Columbus was a dog-blasted liar. I learned that, but not in school. All right? Let's see what Christopher Columbus really came over here for. Read the In Pursuits, that part. You ain't got to read the title. Just read what it say up under there.
Okay, Colonel Khan. On April 17th, 1492, before his first voyage to the Americas, Columbus negotiated a business contract with King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
That's what I.S.U.P.K was telling us about. So before he left, he got a contract. He got a record deal, right? Go ahead.
Colonel Khan of Queen Isabella of Spain, entitling him to 10% of all profits. In this contract, the Spanish sovereigns agreed.
So read that little part right there. I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but I want them to get the gist of what this contract, how this said, what it said.
That of all and every kind of merchandise, whether pearls, precious stones, gold, silver, spices, and other objects and merchandise whatsoever, or of whatever kind, name and sort, which may be bought, bartered, discovered, acquired, and obtained.
Y'all get the point, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you come across on this board, you bring it back to us and you get 10%. Go ahead.
If I could, like that word discovered is so diabolical.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. They said he discovered America, right. And we'll find out when he got here that there was already people here. Mm-hmm. How you discover something that somebody else already there? Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. But anyways,
it's like
while I'm bringing this out is they never mention something. If you want to find out the purpose for why people do what they do, especially the white man who the devil that the Bible speaks of, you got to understand where the money is at. If it ain't about the money, don't be blowing me up because I ain't getting up. Don't be hitting my line. Stop wasting my time. This is what Christopher Columbus said, man. I'm trying to go get this bread. This was the whole point of the whole voyage. Not only that, but this other part. Read the after turning out the Jews part.
Colonel McCann. It's like, where is that?
Right up under where you was reading. It's in green. Don't mind.
Okay, it says, Your Highness grant from now henceforth to the said
Oh,
Don.
no. Skip down a little bit. You'll see it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You want me to read the green part or start in the black?
At the black part. I'm reading the green part. Go ahead.
Beyond prophets, Columbus sought to convert native people to Catholicism.
Whoa. So he on a crusade and he get to keep everything he finds. Think about that for a minute. Christopher Columbus, who came and took the whole country, was a Christian. Think about it. Nobody never told me that. Keep going on.
In the prologue to his journal of his first voyage, Columbus wrote to Ferdinand and Isabella, Your Highnesses, as Catholic Christians and princes who love the holy Christian faith.
Hey, look, this is how you know they're real Christians. He can't even address the king without addressing his woman too. Typical Christian fashion. Not just to the king, but to the king and your highnesses. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
As Catholic Christians and princes who love the holy Christian faith and the propagation of it, and who are enemies to the sect of Muhammad, Islam, and to all idolatries and heresies, resolved to send me, Cristobal Colon, to the said
that
parts.
Was a real name.
To the said parts of India to see the said princes, with a view that they might be converted to our holy faith.
So now on top of the money, he's saying this is something that God then sent him to do. Right? Let's skip to the good part. Go to the enslavement of the native people. Now keep in mind, they only told me that Columbus came over here, discovered America. He was this great man. He was this explorer and all of this. They ain't tell me about the money. They ain't tell me about him converting people or having an issue with Islam and all this other stuff. I ain't never heard none of that part of the story.
Right.
Go ahead, the enslavement of the native people.
On October 12th, 1492, the first day he encountered the native people of the Americas, Columbus wrote in his journal, they should be good servants.
Oh, God, good night. That's the first thing he wrote in his journal after he met the people that lived here already in the land that he discovered. What was the first thing he wrote? Read it again.
They should be good servants.
They should be good servants. That's what he came away with. That's what he came away with. That's crazy. Keep reading.
If I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
It seemed like the first thing that hits a Christian's mind is how to enslave a person.
Yeah, absolutely. A white Christian, black Christians never think about that. They think about is how to serve a person. That's the first thing they mind. But go ahead.
I, our Lord, being pleased, will take hence at the time of my departure 6 natives for your highnesses. These captives.
Go ahead.
These captives were later paraded,
yeah,
through the streets of Barcelona and Seville when Columbus returned to Spain.
So let me tell y'all something. When you start talking about the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade, he came over here looking for gold, spices, all this other stuff, and found a people that opened up their homes to them and let them in here and was peaceful people, right? Oh, matter of fact, we didn't even get to that part yet. And the first thing he thought about them was they would make good slaves. So when you talk about this particular part of the Atlantic slave trade, it didn't start with them picking niggas up from Africa, bringing them over here. It started with them kicking on niggas that was over here, native or indigenous people over here, and he took 6 of them back to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. Oh, you ain't know your Latino brothers and sisters was a part of a slave trade as well?
Right.
They paraded them around Spain. Why you think they speak Spanish? Because that's who came over here and took over the Taino Indians or the tribe of Reuben, the Seminole Indians. That's who came over here and took over Gad. It was that. Why you think Florida is Spanish?
Mm-hmm.
This started it all right here. This is it. They came over here and grabbed your brothers and sisters and took them back and paraded them through Spain. Keep going out.
Come on, sir. So like it. From his very first contact with the native people, Columbus had their domination in mind. For example, on October 14th, 1492, Columbus wrote in his journal, "With 50 men, they can all be subjugated and made to do what is required of them."
Hey, Nishad, give me Psalms chapter 55, verse 20 real quick. Give me that. Go ahead.
You know, like, and this is so reminiscent of the Queen Elizabeth, who God took off the face of the earth very recently. And our people are out here, you know, celebrating her life and, you know, paying homage to her after her death, when she also did what Christopher Columbus did and took those Gadites, those native Indians, into captivity.
Yeah, it never stopped, dog. It never stopped. This is what they've been doing. They probably was doing this prior. Like, he wasn't the first voyager that came over here. While they was trying to figure it out. Like, I usually on this day, it's in the movie, 1492, right? And I don't know if y'all can pull it up over there. Maybe I can find it. In 1492, the dude saying, "Why you want to go over there?" He was like, "I want to find a back route to Asia," right? And they said, "It's another way. I think you can go west." He's like, "Right now, it's only 2 ways to get to Asia. You got to go all the way around Africa, or you got to go the other way. And the Muslims, the Turks, ain't letting us go the other way. So the only way to get there, it takes like a year to go all the way around Africa." So he was looking for another way, and it's all about conquest. It's all about money. It's all about trade. It's all about commerce, and it's also all about pushing the white Christian faith, the Catholicism. That's what it's all about. And they say, "Well, how do you know?" And he starts naming these people. This person, that person said you can go that way, and Esdras said that you can go that way. And the dude say, "Esdras? Why you listen to Esdras? Esdras is a Jew." So what in Esdras what he was talking about? Anybody know? Hold on, let me pull it up. You got that script? You got that script? All right, hold it for a second. Keep reading, Itazal.
Columbus wrote in his journal, "With 50 men, they can all be subjugated and made to do what is required of them." These were not mere words. After his second voyage, Columbus sent back a consignment of natives to be sold as slaves.
Here we go. Here we go. You see that, right?
Okay.
Ain't that something? Go ahead. So this is the slave trade right here.
All right. Yet in an April 1493 letter to Louis
de Santiago,
a patron who helped fund the first voyage, Columbus made clear that the people he encountered had done nothing to deserve ill treatment, according to Columbus. They are artless and generous with what they have, to such a degree as no one would believe but him who has seen it. Of anything they have, if it be asked for, they never say no.
Think about this, right? He's talking about the conquest and the enslavement of people who have done nothing but be generous and wonderful to them. Think about that for a minute. Now, when we say stuff like the white man is the devil, people are like, oh, y'all crazy. Y'all shouldn't say this. This is in his journal. Ain't nobody saying it. He's saying it. Right. Read that scripture you got in the shop.
Okay. The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 1. Give ear to my prayer, O Yahweh, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me and hear me. I mourn in my complaint.
You sure you're in the right place?
What? You said Psalms 55?
And verse 20.
Oh, Salaki. Verse 20. Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20. He that put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Mm-hmm. What does that? Read it again.
He has broken his covenant.
Read it again from the top.
Come. Verse 20. He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant.
This is telling you that these people have a history of doing this same thing over and over and over again. Now, when next month, when Thanksgiving comes, you'll hear the same thing about Tonto and all these native Indians, as they call them, because this ain't India. Native Indians, as they call them, opening up their houses, feeding them, teaching them how to live on the land, how to beat the mosquitoes, how to not die, and then them putting smallpox in blankets and giving it to them, and killing them and murdering them and slaughtering them. He had put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. He has broken his covenants. Oh yeah, he'll shake your hand and tell you everything is going to be fine. And at the end of the day, you're going to wake up with them cutting your head off or killing all the buffalo so you can't eat, right? You might as well give me verse 21 since we here.
Yes, sir. Psalms chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Y'all know who you talking about. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil. Yet were they drawn sword.
So when you see this and you see this dude and they treat him like a hero and all of this other stuff, right? They treat him like a hero. Just know for sure that there's swords that are going to be drawn. The words in his mouth smooth as butter, but it's war in his heart. He going to write back and say how kind and wonderful you is, and say with 50 men, we could take all of them back and sell them. That's his intent. That's his nature. Hey, I just for a second, let me see if you can see this real quick. I'm gonna try to share my screen real quick, and I want to know if y'all can hear it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quick. Let me let you see this real quick, and let me know if y'all can hear it. Can y'all hear me?
So yeah, it's kind of hear you. All right. The sound from your video is gonna be separate from your voice.
All right, so let me I think I got it turned down because I didn't want no problems. Hold on.
So if you mute, you'll be able to hear the video as well.
If I mute?
You don't have to, but if you mute, you'll still be able to hear the video. Okay,
no sweat. It's a way I can show the video and you can hear me and the video at the same time?
Kind of. If you play it right now, as long as the mute button is not selected on YouTube, we'll be able to hear the video.
All right. Let's see. Is this you? Oh, I'm on the wrong joint. I'm like, what's going on? Hold on 1 second. Where is it at?
You gotta go to the actual tab.
Yeah, I see it now. I was looking at us on the screen. All right, so let me see if you can hear this real quick. Everybody can see this, right?
Come on.
Why do you wish to sail west?
Can you hear it?
Open a new route to Asia. Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and...
All right, so look, this is 1492, right? And the man asking him, why do you want to sail west? This is supposed to be Christopher Columbus, this devil right here. And the other dude is asking him why he want to go west, right?
To open a new route to Asia. Asia is the richest kingdom, the land of spices and gold.
Notice he's talking about money.
At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year. Or by land. But the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a third way. By sailing west across the ocean sea.
Now, he said there's a third way by sailing west across the ocean sea. This is what he's telling him. See how the man looking at him.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
So now they don't even know where they're going. Now keep in mind, Africans, all these other nations of people have been sailing back and forth over to this land ever since, and they know that it exists, right?
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands. Can you be so certain?
You see what he said? I believe they know farther than this amount west of the Canary Islands. And he said, how can you be sure?
The calculations of Toscanelli.
The calculations of Toscanelli, Marin de Tor.
Marin de Tir, Esdras. Esdras is a Jew. So what's worse? 2 minutes, and already you're a dead man.
Now he said Esdras, and then the man said, wait a minute, Esdras is a Jew. Like, we don't listen to Jews. We Christians. You understand, right? So the reason why I brought this up is because Christopher Columbus, if you're reading in that joint where I was just at, hold on, let me go back to screen. If you're reading if you read in the joint where I was just at, it talks about him turning out the Jews, right? Him looking for God's chosen. They already knew God's chosen people was over here. They just thinking it was in Asia because they didn't have the proper map. They didn't know how to get there. And the only way they knew was these people, Tuscany, which is of another nation, this person, and Esdras, who was a Jew. That's why it says after turning out the Jews or the native people, it was trying to convert them to Catholicism. Let's see what he was talking about real quick. I'll pull that out. It's second Esdras. Anybody in the school probably gonna be familiar with this. Hold on. What is it? 6 and 40? 13 and 40. Second Esdras 13 and 40 real quick. Let's go there. See what he's talking about when he said Esdras already talked about this. One of y'all brothers can grab that real quick.
Come on, I got it, sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Osea, the king, whom Salamnassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So you had the Israelites who went into captivity in Babylon and in Assyria, right? And coming out of that, they was taken to different places around the world. So these are the 10 tribes that was led into captivity under Hosea, that was talking about Hosea, right? Under Salmanassar, the king of Assyria. Keep going.
And he carried them over the waters.
So they went over some water. You notice everything over there is connected by land. You can get there by land. Even when he was just talking about getting to Asia, they could go by land, but the problem is they got to go through them Turks, and them Turks was not having them Christians coming through that way. Keep going.
And so came they into another land.
Another land. Go ahead.
But they took these councils among themselves.
Right. This is the 10 tribes, right? Once they was taken over into another land under Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, they took amongst counsel upon themselves. Go ahead.
That they would have lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Think about that. So now they in a place where no other people had ever dwelt prior to this. And this is the place that Christopher Columbus was thinking was Asia that wasn't on his map. Keep going.
Verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood.
So now they're going all through the Euphrates and everything to get through here from where they was leaving from. Keep going.
Till they were passed over.
Now they passed all of that. Go ahead.
For through that country there was a great way to go.
So they had to go a great way through the country of where they at to get to this particular water. Keep going.
Namely of a year and a half.
So it took a whole year for them to even get past that. Go ahead.
And the same region is called Saret.
So the place where they was going was a year and a half through other countries, and they end up in this place that they call Asareth, right? And from what I've been told, I cannot prove this, but what I've been told by brothers that's in the school, that is a mistranslation. And what it really says is Aratazat, meaning a land. That's all it says there. So it was translated into the Greek. So, you know, we don't have the Hebrew records to go back and place that word there. However, this was the accounts that these people had before they ever came over here. So they already knew it was a land where nobody dwelt, with that the Israelites was at, or that the 10 tribes that came or under Assyrian captivity, and he came over here. Go ahead.
If I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, like, because that's what he said about, you know, where the princes are. When we was reading it, if I could, where is that at?
Yeah, it's the part by it says after doing something to the Jews. It says after turning out the Jews, right? That's what you're talking about? Or no?
I believe so, but you know, it literally said princes. I think it was further up though. But yeah, like, cause like that's what hinted me to know that he was talking about the Israelites, because who else is called the princes? You know what I'm saying? And he knew about the Bible.
Right.
And Yasharallah is Prince of the Power. You know what I mean? So,
exactly. So, and then also you got to understand, he was talking about the Jews in there, and how you see how the white man was like, Jews, Ezra is a Jew. Are you trusting in him, such and such or whatever? And this thing was all about Christianity versus Islam versus Judaism versus every other thing. And that was the point. This is why, if you go back to please, let's read this real quick. Pope gives the Americas to Spain. Can you read that real quick?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time, sir.
In that thing I sent you on your phone, it's a heading says Pope gives the Americas to Spain.
Okay,
and then we gotta get out of here. Go ahead.
Following Columbus's discovery, Pope Alexander the Sixth issued a May 4th, 1493 papal bull granting official ownership of the New World to Ferdinand and Isabella. To these monarchs, the Pope declared.
Now, we ain't got to read all of that, right? I ain't got time. But the point is, the Pope granted ownership of a land that he already found people at when he got over here to Spain. Go ahead.
And this is the same Pope whose son is painted as your Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
Same Pope. Pope Alexander the Sixth.
Crazy talk. So the bottom line is America will celebrate your destruction. They will celebrate your enslavement. They will celebrate your demise. They will celebrate those people who are thieves and robbers and murderers as long as they win. And if you get caught up into that spirit, you'll be proud to be an American, and you'll be celebrating those people who are the most disgusting and wicked people on the face of the earth. All right, I just wanted to bring this out for my people from the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, all my people, the Taino Indians, all my people from all my family that now don't understand why you speak Spanish. You Spanish.
Right.
It's because you were conquered by Isabella and Ferdinand by way of Christopher Colon.
That's right.
Who they call Christopher Columbus. And it's now you come back to your real nationality, your true identity, who is the 10 lost tribes or the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. All right, with that, anybody got any questions?
Nah, sir.
All right, y'all want to add anything to it? Y'all got anything y'all want to put on top of that?
Nah, sir, you nailed it.
Great class.
All right, Most High in Christ. With that, I say shalom. Yabashim Shabakathum. Yabashim Yahweh Shema Alatan Bashim Yahweh. If you want, I'm gonna pass the class over to Nashak, and you can deal with it however you want.
Come, sir. The one. Yeah, I mean, like we might listen. The only thing I could add, to what Officer Kazak nailed was, like that happened to us. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus did that, but at the same time, it was because we went against our power.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We went against our God, and he set that whole thing in motion for us to be in the condition from that time of Christopher Columbus to the time right now, that we're still serving out that punishment that, that we originally went into, running from the punishment, running to a land that we never been in before. And the scriptures say that he would send a nation swoop down quick as an eagle, paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying? But that's, we did this, we put ourselves in this condition, and we have to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. It's high time that we come back and serve our power, okay? And with that, we'll go ahead and let y'all, have the rest of your night. We'll end the class officially. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Brakathum, Yahweh Shema Alatham Bashim Yahushua. I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA, not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite groups. Shalom.
Pay your tithes.
Most High in Christ.